My name is Amber Reed, R-E-I-D, birthday 12/27/90. I'm turning 32, but like I'm almost positive my like mental age, like my brain is stuck at 17. I'm actually starving, so okay, yes, I troll. Whatever, Trollin has entered the chat. I'm totally fine with a clickbait title because you guys know I love me a clickbait title. You're not paying attention to your health, you don't care about your health, you don't care about your body, you want to die, you could have ate healthy, you chose not to, do you really need to go on vacation, you need to buy health insurance instead. I just don't want to hear it.
No one cares!
Hey guys, Grüße aus Deutschland, greetings from Germany yet again. In this video I can actually talk about what I wanted to talk about, and that is something that's been rocking my world in relation to Amberlynn Reid. Back in November 2018, her content was incessantly pushed into my recommended video section after I had uploaded a video about food addiction, my own food addiction, and so I had never Googled anything about food addiction. I just gave my account on food addiction. And so Amberlynn Reid's content has been pushed or was pushed into my recommended section until I finally caved and I said, okay, I'm gonna check out what this is because have the aliens landed? Is that what they're called? I had no idea. And so in the beginning I thought, oh my gosh, how could this have happened to her? And as somebody that is that has psychology as a hobby, I tried to find out the reason, like the underlying cause, like what has made her this big. So usually there's emotional trauma that gets people to eat like that. I mean, to disrespect themselves so much that they get to that point. And nothing stops them, not even when, you know, your jeans don't fit anymore or your shirt is tighter or, you know, whatever. Nothing worked for Amber. And that is something that was hard for me to understand. But the more videos I watched, and it didn't take me long to understand, I realized that she is, in my books, and I'm not a healthcare professional, a sociopath, which means she has no emotions, she has no remorse, shame, or guilt. She will go for her goal, and in her case, it is to get enough money to continue overeating, because she has no other way of dealing with life, which kind of excludes that she has no emotions, because if she has no emotions, she doesn't have to stuff down her feelings. And so it's a complicated case. We all know it. We all come at it from a different angle and with our own perception of things. But most of us agree she is a horrific human being, and she treats others around her like shit, and she doesn't care about her audience. She has been doing so many things where you thought, oh my gosh, how cold-blooded do you have to be in order to say this or do that? And it's becoming clearer to me now that Mr. Snowflake is doing this docu-series. Because, as some of you know, I used to be a Amber Reaction channel, and then I stopped because I just couldn't handle the toxicity of her anymore. It's not like it was damaging my mental health. That's not what it was. I was so disgusted by her. I wanted her out of my life. And it got to a point where I took her content, or the few videos that I had not deleted yet, I pushed them over to this channel here, and I wanted her out of my private affairs, and so I created this channel here. But the entire time that I've been watching her on and off, since November 2018, I've been trying to figure out what makes her so unlikable, so dishonest, so punchable. I mean, you guys know what I'm saying. I probably don't have to explain myself, but I've been trying to figure it out, and I cannot put my finger on it. With all my experience in self exploration in terms of, trying to improve things about myself and in my life. And all my studies of psychology and my experience with ADD, anxiety, and depression and food addiction, I cannot relate to what she is doing on her channel. It is absolutely crazy. There's no logical thinking that I can detect. And see, in real life, I'm always trying to understand people, like what might be their background. What is it just their are they just in a bad mood today or whatever? Or if it's people that are in a bad mood a lot, then I'm trying to understand. Maybe they have a situation going on at home. I always give people the benefit of the doubt. But in Amber's case, and that is really hard to grasp how many mistakes she makes and how many mistakes she continues over and over again, and then comes to a brief moment of, I don't even want to say an epiphany, but like a clear thought, but only for a brief second or maybe just one video. And she cries and she says, I can't believe I've done this to myself and I need to change. And especially in 2019. And then in the next video, she would just stuff her face and laugh in the audience faces. You know what I'm saying? And also, she's playing mind tricks without knowing it. I do not think that she's intelligent enough to do this on purpose. I think it's because she is so dizzy-headed. She doesn't understand what she's doing. Let's say she's oversharing, like pooping her pants or choking on a piece of potato and almost dying. Um, Bleeding violently from her lady parts for 2 years without going to a doctor. I mean, she overshares a lot on her channel, right? And so she has phases where she feels that it's okay to share all of this with her audience because, let's face it, she has no constant in her life, like a constant person, because she alienates everybody and eventually they run. And so all she has left is YouTube. And so she shoves the camera in her own face and just babbles away, whatever comes to mind, without any regard for the consequences and without the willingness to take responsibility for what she said or did in her vlogs. And then she goes through phases, and this is like on, off, right? And then she goes through phases where she feels like she's depressed, she wants to withdraw, but actually she can't because she's going to have to continue making vlogs in order to make money. And so she's like stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? And she has to continue filming. And so we see her really like withdrawn and bitter though, because she reads the comments and then she reads about people asking her really personal questions like, do you still fit in the shower, when was the last shower you took, or yada yada. And then she gets bitter about it because she's not in that oversharing mood anymore, in that manic phase. And so she turns bitter and she gets mean. And she is naturally a bitter person and a negative person. That became clear when Mr. Snowflake did all the readings of her statuses and statements on Facebook and Ask FM from, like, I think 2013 up, no, 2011 up. It became clear that Amber was always bitter. She was always entitled. She was always dishonest. She was lying to get credit for things she had not done, or she was lying about things she had gone through, supposedly, that she had not gone through. And so a lot of character traits that we do not like in her today, she's had for quite some time. And so I've been trying to figure it out. At the same time, of course, like I told you guys, I'm like a hawk in the sky. She trips up once and I will have her yanked off the platform. She just has to make a mistake big enough, or ride mobility scooters again when she has been exceeding the weight that is permitted on these scooters, things like that. So I'm like a hawk in the sky, but at the same time I'm still trying to figure out what makes her such an unlikable person, so dishonest, so entitled, um, cannot take responsibility for anything she's done or said in her life. And that is something that a sociopath would do. That's why I keep saying that she has all the symptoms of a sociopath. And I know in the medical field, they're called differently now. So if I had to venture a guess as a non-expert, as a layman, I would say she has antisocial personality disorder. And the reason why I'm thinking that is because, according to her behavior on her channel, she has most of the symptoms of a sociopath. I don't know too much about psychopaths, but she might have some traits from them. But I'm trying to figure it out, and I don't know what it would do for me. I guess I'm trying to come up with a reason other than there are people that are this horrific, that have such bad personalities on this planet. So far, I haven't come up with anything, but this week, I received a comment under one of my videos, and I haven't asked that person if I can publish it with their name, and so I'm just for now publishing the comment itself. And if the commenter would like for me to state their name, I will do it in my next video. But here's the comment that I got. Everything makes sense now. Google up Prader-Willi syndrome. It's her. Every single thing, from the looks down to her appetite and binging to skin picking. She was special ed her whole childhood and in high school, and I believe this is why. And so I read the comment and I was like, I have never heard of that syndrome. But then I looked it up and oh my God. So right off the bat, if you look at the picture, does that not look familiar? I mean, the stature of that person. But okay, I'm gonna try to get through this. I'm not gonna read everything, but if you're in the Amberverse, look it up. It is uncanny. So it's called Prader-Willi syndrome. It's a genetic disorder caused by a loss of function of specific genes on chromosome 15. There are also videos on this, but I'm not so interested in the genetics, so we know it's a genetic syndrome. Beginning in childhood, those affected become constantly hungry, which often leads to obesity and type 2 diabetes. Um, Okay, mild to moderate intellectual impairment would explain why she was in special ed, why she had bad grades in high school and in college, where she only was briefly and she never got a degree. Of course, not with her mental lack of mental stamina. Prader-Willi syndrome has no cure. Treatment may improve outcomes, especially if carried out early. That syndrome affects between 1 in 10,000 to 30,000 people worldwide. Signs and symptoms. So the PWS symptoms can range from poor muscle tone during infancy to behavioral problems in early childhood, which was clearly the case with her. A lack of eye coordination. Sometimes when she looks up, it does look strange, but they're listing it here under childhood symptoms. Let's go for childhood. Excessive sleeping, we don't know about that. Crossed eyes, not so much. Speech delay, I mean, she still has problems expressing herself properly. Poor physical coordination, we'll never find out probably, because when she walks, she has problems walking like a normal person because her legs are so thick. Excessive hunger begins between the ages of 2 and 8 and continues on throughout adulthood. Excessive weight gain, sleep disorder, she still has up to this day. Delayed puberty, I don't know about that. Short stature, that is for sure. Obesity, that's a check. Extreme extreme flexibility, I don't know about that. Narrow forehead at the temples, now that is something. I'm not sure exactly what that expression means, but I think that goes for Amber too. Narrow nose bridge, absolutely. Thin upper lip, oh yes. A downturned mouth, yes, and it's more pronounced now that she's getting older. Unusually fair hair, skin, and eyes. I don't know what fair means in terms of maybe light. So I don't know if that applies. But small hands and feet, absolutely. I mean, the feet I've never really seen all that, close up. But she prides herself in her small hands. And yes, they're chubby, but maybe the size, like when she compared to White Bee's hands, they were kind of small. Tooth decay due to underproduction of saliva could absolutely be possible, but then again, she's also a food addict. I mean, let's just say, what if this was the explanation, like her constantly being hungry and not having a feeling of ever being satisfied? I watched videos about this, and that's how they explained it. That these people are never satisfied, they never feel full. They have to be physically kept away from food, or the other way around. Otherwise, they want to continue eating, and that can never end well. But let's just say with her, the tooth decay due to underproduction of saliva, she's eating a lot or often and a lot, and then she also drinks the sodas. She hasn't shown any, but I doubt she stopped drinking them. The growth hormone. Okay, I don't know. But she is 5'2". For a while there, she said she's 5'3", and then she said she's 5'2". So
I'm a 500-pound, 5'2", 32-year-old woman with severe mental issues.
she is really short. In adulthood, infertility, we're never gonna find out. Obesity, that is a given. Low muscle tone, maybe she is so lazy because she has problems, um, with her muscles. Prone to diabetes, she probably has it already and doesn't admit it. Extreme flexibility, I don't know what they mean by that. Physical appearance, prominent nasal bridge, not really, but she has, what did it say up there? Narrow nose bridge. So prominent nasal bridge. I don't know if that applies to her. Small hands and feet with tapering of fingers. Well, the tapering is not. I don't. I'm not sure if I'm understanding this correctly. You guys let me know. You've seen her hands in the videos. Soft skin, which is easily bruised. I don't know about that. Excess fat, especially in the central portion of the body, that is definitely a check mark. High, narrow forehead. I don't know about that. I don't know if you could consider it that. Thin top lip. That's definitely um, that applies to her. Downturned mouth. Absolutely. Almond shaped eyes. Almond shaped eyes. Light skin and hair relative to other family members. I don't know what they look like. I mean, all those pictures are kind of quality wise very bad, so I don't know. But the mother is dark hair, but so is Amber. I don't know. Lack of complete sexual development. I don't know about that. Frequent skin picking. That she has admitted to, and we have seen in so many vlogs. She cannot stop with that. Stretch marks, most likely. Delayed motor development. She's very clumsy, I've noticed, with scissors or opening packages, but it's hard to tell, from a distance or just going by what she shows in the vlogs. So the syndrome is frequently associated with a constant insatiable appetite, which persists no matter how much the patient eats, often resulting in morbid obesity. Caregivers need to strictly limit the patient's access to food. This is exactly what I've been saying. Um, a sociopath, they're too far gone. What can you do? But with her food addiction, she cannot stop, and sometimes it seems to bother her. So that means maybe she has sociopathic traits, but she is not a full-blown sociopath. But the food addiction has such a control over her, and this would explain it, right? This would explain it. If you can never feel full and you have to physically be kept away from food, or the other way around, um, then that is an explanation why she cannot stick to any kind of diet and why she has no self-restraint. I've watched a video where they padlocked their refrigerator, and the son still, he broke it open. It's almost like like an animal, like he can't control it. And maybe whatever she called a binge monster is her just feeling like she needs to eat or she's gonna go insane. And this is not food addiction related, because I have food addiction and that is not what's happening with me. So I'm thinking maybe this syndrome is something that Amber is ailed by. It is, wait, where were we? Caregivers need to strictly limit the patient's access to food, usually by installing locks on there it says it, on refrigerators and on all closets and cabinets where food is stored. It is the most common genetic cause of morbid obesity in children. Currently, no consensus exists as to cause for the symptom, although genetic abnormalities in chromosome 15 disrupt the normal functioning of the hypothalamus. Given that the, yeah, okay, this is getting a little bit too technical again. Given that the hypothalamic arcuate nucleus regulates many basic processes, including appetite, a link may well exist. In the hypothalamus, nerve cells that produce oxytocin, a hormone thought to contribute to satiety, so they never feel full. What I'm not going to do is, I was thinking about it, reacting to some of the videos that I watched about the syndrome, and it would actually explain why Amber is this stone cold when it comes to trying to make money on her channel. She doesn't care about anything. Like I always say in my videos, I was basically correct about that. But maybe not about the being a sociopath, because she does have feelings, but she doesn't care because the feeling of, I'm guessing it's a feeling of starving. Like if you never feel full, I don't know to what degree that makes you feel like you're dying, and so you'd rather lie and ruin your reputation and your credibility and every relationship that you encounter in order to continue to be able to eat. And so she has to lie to us. I mean, I'm not tele-diagnosing her here. Actually, I wished I could make this video to where she cannot watch it and none of the content can reach her, which is impossible. Because if she hears about this, she's gonna use it. But then again, if she hears about this, like I had no idea this syndrome exists, and that is a nasty one. And if she actually suffers from it, it would explain a lot of what she does on her channel that we find so appalling. And if you look at that, I think that's a boy, child, it says, with that syndrome. Um, it does look a little bit like her, and she doesn't seem to get a grip of her situation, and this might be the reason. And this might be why she gets so mad at us, because she has this problem, she has this feeling of never being full. And that's why I think it was Rafe that said she always talks about food. Always. It's everything is about food. That might explain it. But then again, I don't know why she doesn't just like take money, like when she saves up money, like for example, a single human being cannot eat away more than $10,000 a month, which is what she made back in 2019, right? Then why not just eat until your heart stops beating? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what is the solution to that problem? It says on Wikipedia that there is no cure. So you have to be physically kept away from food, otherwise you're gonna eat yourself to death. And the person that commented is completely correct. This is her. This is her. And it doesn't say all the symptoms that I watched in videos where they actually show children and then subsequently adults that had that syndrome, and they could not stop it. I mean, you have to be physically controlled. I mean, in the physical world, there's no therapy for that, because it is a dysfunction. It's a syndrome. It's a dysfunction where the body never feels satiated, and that is bad. And since we're never gonna find out, because let's say Amber Reed had this syndrome, she would continue to lie to us in order to continue, like I always say, continue getting that money so that she can continue to eat. She would continue to lie about weight loss because this is how she drew the crowd, by being this large and by not being able to lose weight. And then she got nasty over it, because I don't know if it's so much entitlement, but by now she just knows she cannot get a grasp of the problem. She does not have the self-discipline. And I'm feeling a little bit bad. I gotta admit it, you guys. I'm feeling a little bit bad that all those times that I said she has no self-control and no self-discipline. If she has this syndrome, then she has none. She has no control over it. But again, I'm not diagnosing her. I just wanted to put this out there, because as someone that's been watching her for 5 years and have been left dumbfounded so many times when she made so many illogical decisions and alienated and infuriated her audience over and over again, and then even tried to monetize suicide ideation, cancer that she didn't have, um, the stories in her spouse's lives that I don't think Becky, for example, was on board with the whole how much Amber shared on her channel about what happened to Becky's mom and stuff like that, or showing Destiny's ass crack. It's like Amber the entire time knew that there's no solution to the problem. Because if she has that syndrome, she's been feeling like she's never felt full in her entire life. I mean, that is something that is serious,
I just don't want to lose weight though.
Why?
Because I'm not, I don't care. I just think that, like, if I get to be 600 pounds, then maybe I can just go on the show.
No.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Why?
I don't want that.
Why though?
Because I don't want that.
But what if, like, I get famous from it?
No.
What? Okay, fine. I won't go on the show, but at least I'll be happy. Because I won't constantly be worried about counting calories.
You're lying.
I'm not lying.
But then again, she doesn't have the the balls, the backbone to go to a doctor and see if she can get diagnosed with that. I don't even know what that would entail. I'm not going to read this whole thing because again, Amber's not that big of a part in my life. I turn my computer off and she's gone. But that would be interesting to find out if that's actually what's going on with her. Because in my 50 plus years on the planet, I've never seen anyone that is as cold blooded and as dishonest for that long as she is. For years now. And she doesn't stop and she doesn't apologize. She apologizes for small stuff, but not for the bigger things. And so I'm thinking she has sociopathic tendencies, but the underlying cause might be this syndrome. What do you guys think? I didn't mean to make it this long and I didn't mean to read that much info that's not interesting to us, but maybe we could start a conversation about this. And again, I'm not trying to diagnose Amber Reed with anything, and I wished I could keep this information away from her, but then again, if she feels desperate enough to actually go, because Amber, if you're actually watching this, there are so many ways, horrific ways, in which obese people die. You could have a heart attack, you could be left paralyzed, half of your body being paralyzed, and then try to come on YouTube, turn on your camera, and try to be condescending and talk down to us with half of your face drooping down. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be mean here, but there are so many ways, horrific ways, in which obese people die. Of course, you could die in your sleep. That's a peaceful death, I guess. But there are so many things that could be coming your way if you don't get this under control. And maybe it would be worth it going to actually see a doctor, mentioning the syndrome, or calling ahead at clinics. You must have psychiatric clinics, or I don't know what this would be. Where they know about genetics. I don't even know what that clinic would be called. But maybe that would be a good idea. And so maybe if we get this out there, um, then I don't know, it's gonna help us to that there's a chance that she's not a complete biatch without a conscience that continues to alienate everybody until there's nobody left. I would like to think so. And this syndrome would kind of be an explanation for that. But so would be her being a sociopath. Um, but she still exists out there, and people like her do exist out there. But somebody that is this consistent with dishonesty and bullshitting and monetizing it all for this many years now, it's almost 10 years. In November, it's going to be 10 years. That is, in my life book, unheard of. Okay, something just hit me. I just imagine that word gets through to her that the syndrome exists. And with her wearing diagnoses like badges and throwing them around as reasons why she can't change her life. Gosh darn it, guys, she hasn't changed her life in any kind of way. It's not just about the food, right? But imagine word got to her that that syndrome exists, and then she would have to get tested for it. We're not going to see a diagnosis because we didn't see any proof for the other diagnosis she told us about. And so the only way for her to deal with this is to go into like a supervised setting where people keep food, literally keep food away from her. And that to somebody like her would be like hell. And so even she if she knew about this or if she hears about this syndrome, there's nothing she can do about it, because if she now, let's say she says, okay, so I think I have it because I have so many symptoms, or she lies to us about being diagnosed with it, then she can still eat herself to death like she does anyway on her channel, but she can't lie about weight loss anymore. I mean, that ship has pretty much sailed anyway, even though there are enough people out there apparently because they keep clicking on her videos and support her lifestyle. And so either they believe that she's gonna lose weight or they just want to see her croak. I don't know. Either way, it's a grim future. Let me know what you think. My mind was blown because I had no idea this exists, but here we are, right? Alright, you guys, I'm gonna go. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.